Hi, everybody. It's Dawn Bennett from Touch Remedies, coming to you today with a reading of Chapter 2 from my book, The Touch Crisis, which will be available on Amazon September 1st. The Touch Crisis is an amalgamation of the science and the soul of why touch and touch communication is so important currently in our culture, and how we can use really healthy communication to make stronger connections with those that we care about, but also to bring people closer together in our community. In fact, it's shown through research that the more often children are touched in a loving and intentional way when they're young, the less violent they are apt to be when they get older. And that goes not just young children, that goes all the way through the teen years. And so in the struggle that we're having in our culture, I really encourage you to reach out and instead of judging others, think about how can we be connected? Where are our similarities? Anyway, in Chapter 2, Roots and Resources, this Chapter 2 is all about strategizing your intention for touch and physical contact in your life, but also how to be safe around it. Where do you feel safe? Where do you feel nurtured? And even if that's saying no to physical contact, how do you do that and still connect? But I'm going to start by reading a little bit of my own personal story. So I had been back from Europe for about 6 weeks and was living with my parents. Having sold my house before I left the first time, there was not enough space between trips to justify renting a space. It's so interesting to be back in a routine with my parents, I thought, as I sat on the edge of my childhood bed and looked around my childhood room. It's so familiar, yet so different at the same time. But I guess we've all changed. I gazed out the window that overlooked the back hill and the large forest I used to explore with my dog, Ben. Hiding behind the new sheer white curtains were the blackout shades I remembered as a child. I'm amazed we have these so deep in the country, but they are necessary for these long days. The walls and carpet were still the pink peach color I chose when I was young, and my clunky oak desk and bright red chair was still there, piled high with books, unopened mail, and my in-progress client cases. My posters had been replaced with pictures, and the open folding doors of the closet revealed my mother's clothes instead of mine. The dark dresser and nightstand were new additions, as well as the ceiling fan above me. Sitting opposite from the door that led down the hall to the rest of my house, I smiled as I watched my mom scurry out from the bathroom where she had just taken her shower, dash down the hallway, and turn into the living room. She's probably heading into the kitchen to figure out where she lost her coffee this time, I thought with amusement. Some things never change. My first few weeks had been complete chaos as I caught up on clients at both offices, spent time with friends, and settled into the rhythm of being back in the US. But I thought, thank goodness my parents were still in Florida when I arrived. I didn't have to navigate so many changes at once, and I could get into my own rhythm here. But for some reason, I'm still not feeling really connected with them. It's probably because I haven't been home while they're awake, except for in the mornings when we're all in our morning routines. But the realization came with a bit of guilt and sadness. Some of the loneliness I thought had left me over the last few weeks suddenly washed over my body and into my chest, leaving me feeling empty and needy. I looked at my watch and began picking up all the items I'd organized on the dresser. I better get going. I want a bit of time to chat with them before I go to work, and I don't want to be late. Let's see, laptop, keys, wallet, phone. Okay, I already took my sheets to the car with my lunch. I'm good to go. So I walked down the hall, through the living room, into the adjoining dining room and kitchen where my dad was busy cooking himself eggs and toast. Oh my goodness, that's loud. The newscaster's melodramatic voice was spouting off the latest news. I wish he'd wear his hearing aids in the morning or turn on music instead. Maybe I should do that for him. Puts us all in a better mood anyway. The jarring sound was a sharp contrast to the depth of longing I felt inside. I really need a good hug. Hey, honey, my dad greeted me, looking over the counter where he was waiting for his toast. Heading to work already? Yep, another full day of clients. I should be home early tonight, though, about 9 p.m. or so, I responded, leaning back against the double oven across from him. I looked around the long, narrow space that hadn't changed since I was little, and then out the windows that overlooked the bird feeders in the front lawn. My mom was nowhere in sight. She must have run to the basement office to check emails. Well, he said, I should still be up. I've got to mow the lawn a bit today and see if I can figure out how to hit that ball on the golf course. My game has just sucked lately. He shook his head as he buttered his freshly popped toast and turned to the stove to get some eggs. It's because you get too stressed about it, I joked. Look at me. I only play a couple times a year and I'm great at it. Our tradition together was to not keep score when we played, so all my good rounds were, of course, top of mind. I set my laptop down on the beige tile floor so I could give him a hug before I left. My need for touch had returned during the last few weeks. It didn't take me long to get over my touch sensitivity, I mused, thinking of all the hugs with family, clients, and friends in the last month. But luckily, I'm in the right spot for a really good one before heading to work. Plate in hand, my dad reached his other arm out and gave me a quick squeeze. Have a great day at work, honey. It'll be nice to see you when you get home tonight, he finished, walking over to pick up his coffee cup. Is that it? I thought, suddenly panicked and dissatisfied. Give me a real hug, damn it. Stop being in your routine and pay attention to me. The child in me screamed, remembering those long, comforting hugs I got when I was little, when he'd wrap me up in comfort and love, the kind that makes my body feel all snuggly and safe. You're an adult now, my mind reminded me. You're not supposed to need that kind of attention from your parents. I felt the familiar surge of unmet emotions rising into my throat. It felt like I wanted to throw a mini tantrum to release the emotional void that I could feel growing deep inside my stomach. Come on, logic battled with my emotions. You're living in their house for free, eating their food, and they've offered you support for whatever you need to be successful. This knowledge should be enough. Stop being a child and get to work. You too, Dad, I replied, lost in my internal battle. I walked over and grabbed a banana off the counter to fill the emptiness in my center. I look forward to talking later tonight. Well, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If the book interests you, check out Amazon.com, Dawn Bennett, The Touch Crisis, available on Kindle and in paperback. It'll get mailed right to your door. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you soon.